All right, number 94, which was my target out of the 146. Still want to do some of the just the shapes in the text. There are points behind some of these 2D drawings to without the dimensions to give it. Oh, okay, there's the grid. So apparently the first couple in that segment are just pretty much whatever you want to make them. So let's finish up 94, and then we'll make from 95 on a separate segment. All right, looking at the geometry, we have symmetry, and then we have the arc. So this is one of the new ones. Haven't had a chance to really look at or digest. Have the steps under, but if I bring that all the way through, then that becomes a little bit of an issue. So I still kind of want to jump into it with the with kind of this I-beam shape, but the arc presents a little bit of a challenge there. So worst case, if we had to chop some material out of there, I think I'm okay with that. What is the setback? About 5 millimeters. Yeah, we could go up to next there. So got to pick something. So we're going to go with the I-beam on the front plane, and we're in metric. So front plane, center line, vertical, infinite length. Set it to the origin. Let's go with L on the keyboard. Jump directly into the line command, up, over, back. And get that I-beam shape started. Alright, so overall height is 55. Width is, let's see, 80 to the outside. Heights of the step is 10 millimeters. Okay, so it's still selecting for the center line. Need to hit escape, and that'll let me back into setting the edge. And then 35 for the relief for the inside. And then across the top is 50. And 10 millimeters on the web. Okay, so that looks pretty good to get us going. We'll go with a right to left, make sure everything gets selected, mirror the entities, have the object. Let's go ahead and go mid-plane, extrude boss base, and mid-plane is 160 millimeters. Okay, so the step then, front plane being, nope, I needed the right plane. So going into the right plane, let's go ahead and just generate that circle, give it a vertical relation. Kind of difficult to tell where they brought that from. So no, 59.21. That's an interesting number. Looks like it's coming in on this edge. Would have kind of expected it there, but bringing it up to center and 40 across. All right. Well, let's get it notched out first, and then we'll worry about generating the web geometry. Would assume that it's also going to be 10 millimeters since it comes up to the tangency. Definitely a casting. All right, so from the edge to the center of the circle, 59.21. And that doesn't intersect because I haven't given it a radius yet. So 77.5 times 2. All right, so that's our cutout for the relief. Features. Whoop, double click on the breaking bar. Extrude cut through all both. I'll set the geometry. All right, so back into the front plane. Oh, sorry, right plane again. Let's go ahead and generate our arc as a convert. And then I can just drag the endpoints back up to match. All right, so I'm not seeing a second, basically that the point comes up here and intersects. What do we have? A point at 30? We'll see if that lines up to 30 or if there's a little bit of mismatch. So that would explain the 59.21, as those are really close. So let's go to driven dimension and drag that off. And we'll drag it back and see if there's a decimal or... So 29.9995, we'll call that close enough to 30. All right, so that would just go into the to the relief on the outside. Yeah, let's go with the control 4. All right, so wherever that one ends up, that's fine. And then we're going to go, let's just go 3-point arc between the two endpoints. And then we'll go nope, coincident. All right, so this step goes out and is 40 millimeters, which was the 5 millimeters in. Features extrude, midplane, 40 millimeters. Okay, so that'll leave just a little bit of a step. And so that being the case, let's go with center line so that we can draw the one rectangle for the relief and then mirror it about and come up with the other 4. Okay, so to the segment and coincident, grab all that, mirror from left to right, just inside the window, mirror, and then cut features is going to be up to next. All right, so just to take that little notch out, square off the corner. All right, so not too bad. The cutout in the step. So we'll start with the center line. Go with our rectangle. Select the midpoint and 20, 30. A lot of stack up there, but oh, it's going to the radiuses. That's nice. Let's go midpoint. Assumption is that everything else is being symmetrical. That ought to be symmetrical too. If we did the math of 15, 30, 24, 22, and 24, and 30, we should have 15 left on the other side. So we're going to stick with that. Depth-wise, they put all of those on center, so let's just pull that back enough. And we'll go in with the fillets, and the fillets were, double check, 8 millimeters. So 8 millimeters. All right, so based on the way they gave us those dimensions, I'm going to go ahead with the hole locations, and all of this is vertical. So I'll put in the center line to mirror across that geometry. All right, so 15. Let's say escape out of that. That'll be 30. 24 to the center of the fillet. And then those come up symmetrical, so really shouldn't. Let's just double check that it goes 22. Nope, grab something there. Okay, 22. And then that goes into gray because it's a driven dimension. All right, the holes are 16 millimeters, so we can get that started. And before we get rid of the dimension, it is, well, 50 between the two holes. So they didn't give me the outside on that one. Okay, so let's set those two to equal. And everything over here gets mirrored eventually, so go ahead and mirror it. And then we can set the 50 between. And at 80 that would still be 15 millimeters, so not really that big of a deal, but let's stay with the dimensions that we're given. Mirror entities, so we have the hole locations, we have the two notches, have everything except for the outside fillets. Alright, features, extrude cut, through all, as our steps. Alright, the two holes upper are set to 10 millimeters. Might as well go ahead and stay with the center line technique. So from face to face, alright, pretty much whatever works. Alright, dimension 10 millimeters, 15 off of the back. And then we'll mirror. Stay with the dimensioning scheme. And the center point, when I set that, acted like it went coincident to something, so we need to get rid of the coincident. Come back and set to 30. And then both of those can be mirrored to make the vertical. Features, extrude cut. We'll watch for the through all and instead go to up to next. That gives us our shape. Alright, so 4 places, radius of 16, 8 places. So we will go fillet, 16, pick the next piece of geometry, and we'll start looking for connected to start loop, 6 edges. That looks like the desired result, and we can call that good. P9-94. Oh, 9-, 4-. All right.